You guys, when was the last time we did this? Had a little sit down chat, you and me hung out. It's been a while, I think we're overdue. I'm gonna crack this can open of sparkling water, crazy. Maybe you will also pour yourself a little drink as we hang out, maybe a snack perhaps. We're gonna get ready together today. I have my makeup bag. I'll show you all the things that I've been liking to use. And most importantly, talk our shit, you know? I feel like it's been a while since we've properly caught up. I think the last time I did one of these, like get ready with me, sit down, chat, nothing too crazy, you and me vibe was over a year ago. So we're overdue. I also did ask on Instagram for you guys to ask questions if you needed advice, if you had questions for me. We've got a lot. If you hear kids screaming, that's because I live in a neighborhood now. I'm part of a community. So there's kids playing in their backyard outside. The birds are chirping. It's a beautiful day. And I was like, you know what? I want to talk to my people. I feel like, obviously I vlog every single week and I post a video every single Sunday, if you didn't know. So we do get to see each other often, but I feel like it's not super often that we're just like really chatting and I'm updating you and I don't know. Usually I'm just vlogging what I'm doing. I'm not like telling you how I'm feeling, what's going on, those kinds of things. I don't know about you guys, but my attention span has not been the best lately. So if that's also you, I would suggest, you know, just leaving this YouTube video on while you do something, while you clean, while you organize, while you do your homework, whatever it is. You don't have to like sit down and watch me talk for 25 minutes straight or however long this is gonna be because I'm not that entertaining with just my words alone. So you might need to like multitask something. I don't know. A really bad habit that I have, I don't know if anyone else does this. And if you do, please let me know so that I don't feel as bad about it. But there have been times where I literally have a TV show on. I'm sitting on that couch right there. And I'm also typing on my computer while simultaneously like scrolling on my phone, watching something else. Like, what is going on? And then I wonder why I'm so overstimulated and stressed. Like, girl, the answer's right in front of you. I also haven't really been in my reading era, which you guys know I love to read, but I genuinely have not read a single book so far this year, which is so crazy to me. And I don't know why that is. I think I just haven't really been able, I think I read one book in the beginning of this year. I haven't really been able to get into anything. I did just order Sunrise on the Reaping. I think that's what it's called. It's Suzanne Collins' new book. It's the Hunger Games book, the 50th quarter quell. If you're like not into Hunger Games like I am, you're gonna be like, girl, what? Why is this such a big deal? It is literally Haymitch's year. And I'm so excited. I was telling Micah about it on our walk last night. I was like, when I read the original OG Hunger Games books, they didn't have the movies. So I wasn't able to like picture who it was. But now I'm like, I think they did the perfect casting for Haymitch in the movies. Like no other person could have played him better than who plays him. And so now that I like know his backstory, know why he is, or like see how he is now, I'm like, to get all this backstory, I'm very excited. I think that's gonna take me out of my reading slump. Are you guys enjoying this video so far? I feel like I really was not gonna film this just because I'm like, people don't care about videos like this. All they wanna see is like fun, cool stuff that I'm doing. And so I almost didn't film this, but I was like, you know what? The OGs, the real ones, will tune in and might even care about what I have to say. And that's all that matters. So if that's you, thank you so much for watching because I know the whole world has like moved on to short form content. And I will give myself a little shout out here. I've been very good. I upload on TikTok once a day. That's like my recent goal, which sounds so silly, but when this is your job, it's important to be able to obviously pivot to where it's going. And so I've been trying really hard to do the short form thing. I honestly have been having a lot of fun with it. I'm a YouTube girly at heart. I love making YouTube videos. I love editing them. I love talking to you guys in the comments. I'll say it. I think YouTube is the best platform. I'm not doing too much to my skin today because my skin has been very good. If you've been following me for a while, then you know that I struggled a lot with acne, especially on my chest, which it has immensely cleared up. You can see there's still like scarring and stuff, which is fine. And that's obviously like hard to get rid of, but my skin has cleared up a lot, which has been so nice. And obviously everyone's different. So I feel like there's not one like quick fix to get clear skin, and what works for some people might, like what works for one person might not work for everybody. But I will say, and this like breaks my heart to say, cutting out a lot of the sugar, like the added sugar that was in my diet, helped so much. And that pains me because I love a sweet treat. I have to have one every day. I was feeling like I had tried so many different things, from topical creams and like dermatologist grade, you know, like lotions and stuff, and nothing was seeming to work. So did some of my own research and gathered some tips from others and was like, you know what? Let's just change up my diet and see if that helps, because what you eat plays a big role in a lot of things with your body and stuff. And so I had heard for so long that an excessive amount of sugar in a diet, like added sugar, can lead to a lot of inflammation in your body and thus inflammation in your skin. So I cut a lot of it out. Acne, like, has kind of left the chat. Well, the scars stayed to just give me a little reminder. Obviously, it was great to see results with my skin, but it also sucked because I'm like, okay, well, can I not eat sugar? I will still eat sugar. I'm still gonna bust it down with a chocolate chip cookie, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna stop living my life, but obviously, things in moderation. But yeah, that's kind of my skin update. And I do feel like, which this also sent me because I am the type of person, like, I love trying out new products and having fun with like skincare. But I started seeing the biggest differences in my skin when I like simplified my routine. So I'm not gonna make this whole video about that, but I did just wanna give an update because I was watching the last time I did like a get ready with me in chat style video, talk about how I was struggling with that. And so it could also be my hormones changing as I get older, but also like, what do I know about hormones? But I will say to anyone who's struggling out there with acne, no one notices it as much as you do. And that is something I always struggled with. I was like, oh, what are people gonna like perceive me as or think of me? Literally everyone is always so worried about themselves. They're not paying nearly as much attention to you as you think they are. I know how hard it is to not feel comfortable in your own skin. And I felt that way for so many years, especially like my early 20s. But you are not alone. So many people struggle with it. I feel like what helped me in those moments of feeling like my acne was so bad was knowing that it would only have as much power over me as I would allow it to. And that goes with a lot of things in life, honestly. Enough about me. Let's get into some of these questions. I need advice on getting past a breakup, even though I know it was best to leave. I totally understand that. Sometimes even if a decision is right for you to make, that doesn't make it not hard. I think when it comes to breakups, the best thing you can do is keep yourself as busy as possible. If you have too much free time alone with your thoughts, that's when, you know, you're like, ooh, should I break no contact? Don't break no contact. Keep yourself as busy as possible. Surround yourself with people who care about you. Pour into yourself. Do the things that maybe you couldn't do or you didn't do while you were in that relationship. I think breakup season, it is such a vulnerable emotional time that you gotta pour as much love into yourself as you can when you're going through that. And also just feeling your emotions. I feel like a lot of the times it's easy to be like, oh, this is a really big and scary emotion. I don't wanna feel it, I'm just gonna push it down. Let me tell you something about that. When you constantly push your emotions down and you keep on doing it, it might seem like a quick fix, but trust me, those emotions and feelings and thoughts don't just go away. They're going to resurface. And so I feel like you gotta just feel your emotions as they come. There's gonna be good days, there's gonna be bad days, there's gonna be days where you're like, oh, this is literally so easy. I am living my best life. And then other days you're like, how am I gonna get through this? You get through it by leaning on your community, and you get through it by just continuing ahead, one day at a time. How do you get out of your comfort zone? This has been, I would say, a very common theme in my 20s is getting out of my comfort zone and trying new things. And I think the best way to do that is to just say yes to more and to be open to these opportunities. I feel like for me, I used to be very closed off to them because of different things that were like holding me back, whether it was my social anxiety, which I've really worked through. And I feel like it's not something I deal with as much anymore, which is so nice. I've definitely talked about that a lot. But exposure therapy, that helped a lot with my social anxiety. Not that this question is about that, but with getting out of your comfort zone, I feel like just getting used to being uncomfortable and realizing that the biggest growth that will happen in your life and the biggest changes that you will see will happen when you step outside of like your box and try new things. It's never too late to pick up a new hobby. It's never too late to start something that you've always wanted to try. There's a few things I have to say about that. One, you don't have to be good at something to enjoy it. Let's say you love ice skating and you're not landing like axles and lutzes. Me knowing the terminology, I'm like, guys, I did ice skate for like 2 years, okay? That's okay if you're not amazing at it and you're not like at an Olympic level, because how boring would life be if we only did the things that we were good at? Some of the things that I love the most in this life, I'm not necessarily that good at. Like, you're not gonna see me on a wave bigger than like 3 feet without wiping out or screaming, crying, throwing up that the waves are too big because I'm so scared. Like, I don't know why I feel like this happens to so many of us, but I feel like when we enter our 20s and, you know, you have all these like big responsibilities and you're starting your adult life, I feel like we let go of our hobbies. And obviously you get so busy and things come up, but I feel like making time for hobbies is very important. And if you don't have hobbies, find one. There's so many things out there indoor, outdoor, underwater, in the water. It's never too late to start something new. It's never too late to find a new passion. I think something I notice a lot of people my age doing is saying we're too old to do something when we're literally in our early mid-20s. Even if you're in your late 20s, it's like, guys, we have so much time and we have so much to learn and so much to discover about ourselves, what we like, what we don't like. And life is all about experiencing and exploring who we are and exploring like our interests and all of that. It would be such a disservice to ourselves if we didn't do the things that we've always wanted to do. A quote that I recently read that I really liked and resonated with me is that it's impossible to be behind in your own life. Everyone's timeline is different. You're exactly where you're meant to be. And I feel like the only reason we feel behind is one, when we place timelines on ourselves, which are we God? No. Are we like the high, whatever you believe in? Like, none of us have the answer to it all. None of us know what the future holds. I understand the frustration when things don't go as planned and maybe you're not where you thought you would be at this point in your life, but truly that is so unknown to us. And so you kind of just gotta take things as they come and realize that you can't be behind in your own life. And two, I feel like causes us to feel like that is social media and comparison. We live in a world where it has never been more accessible than it is now to see what other people are doing, what other people are up to, and that's honestly not a normal thing. And it's something that we're the first generation to have to deal with. In the old days, aka like the 1900s, all of those years, like when our parents were growing up, for example, they didn't know what Amanda from California was doing or what Sally from Florida was up to at 23. You know what I mean? It's like crazy that we have so much access to people's lives, and that's why it's so easy to compare ourselves, because you'll see someone else your age online that lives a very different life, a very different background, and see that they're doing something. Maybe they're 23 and they're already married and have kids, and you're like, holy shit, and am I literally behind? Like, what's going on? I don't even have a boyfriend or a partner. It's like, you are not behind in your own life. I've been there. I understand that feeling because I feel it sometimes too. But for me, when I find myself kind of going down those rabbit holes of, should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? Shoulding on myself, I take a step back, put the phone down, and I'm like, okay, let's be present in this moment. I'm gonna be where my feet are. That is a quote that Micah taught me, shared with me very early on into our relationship, because he knew I was struggling a lot with anxiety. And for me, for a lot of people, anxiety is like future based, which obviously we can't control the future. We don't know the what ifs, what's to come. And he was like, be where your feet are. And that was such a grounding statement to me, because I'm like, that's so right. Literally the only thing and the only moment that exists is right now. I can spend all my energy worrying about what could be, but worry about what is. There's so many what ifs in our life. What is? Because what is the only thing that is real, and the what ifs is like your anxiety playing with you. I'm realizing now that I'm like so into my TED Talk that I have not shared a single product. I'm so sorry. I'll link everything down below though. How to feel confident in your own body. Oh girl, I have been through it with that. I've shared a lot about it as I've grown up, which I feel like was very vulnerable to do as I was kind of like processing these emotions, especially as a teenager in high school, and like body shaming myself or like having just body dysmorphia. It's kind of crazy looking back at those videos and being like, oh my gosh, I was really sharing this stuff as I was going through it, period. Right now, I would say I'm at a point in my life where I've come such a long way. And I honestly think that just comes with time. Like the more time I've spent being myself and like being in this body, I'm like, wow, this is my body. It's the only one I'm gonna get. Let's take care of it. Let's cherish it. Let's be nice to it. I spent so much time like bullying myself with negative thoughts and just being mean to myself that it would just dig me further and further into this hole of like self-hatred and judging myself and being mean. And that literally does nothing for you. I feel like being nice to yourself and talking nicely to yourself goes such a long way. Because most of the time when we're struggling with insecurities, let's just say about like body stuff, because that's what the question is about, most of the time it's not coming from other people, it's coming from ourselves, and we have control over that. We have control over what we think of ourselves. And when you take control of that, and when you realize that, oh, maybe I should be nice to myself and treat myself nicely. This is the only body I have, and I'm so blessed to be able to have like a healthy body. If anyone were to ever be mean to you or body shame you or judge you, it literally just makes you not care because you're like, I don't care what you think because I know what I think, and that is like the most powerful thing. A lot of that does come with growing up, like I said, and it is really hard in today's world, I feel like, because again, there's just like so much comparison and things that we see online. But to kind of answer your question, I would say how to feel confident in your own body. There's so many tips that I could give, but I will say what helped me: speaking nicely to myself, taking care of myself, whether that means working out, moving my body because it feels so good to do that, eating good foods, owning who I am, being like, yes, this is literally who I am, and I'm going to be this person in this body for the rest of my life. Like, I do not want to be 90 years old one day and look back and be like, wow, I spent so much of my young womanhood hating myself, because how sad would that be? And also just surrounding yourself with other confident people who love themselves. And I feel like that plays such a big role. When you're around people who talk meanly to themselves and are very negative, I feel like that can play a role into how you feel about yourself. So I feel like just surround yourself with other confident, kind, loving women like in your life will make such a big difference. And I feel like for me, surrounding myself with people like that just makes me feel even better. Firefighter girlfriend here, advice on how to handle long shifts and staying alone overnight. Okay, as a firefighter girlfriend myself, I do have some tips. I think that the way I best cope with it, because Micah is gone overnights and he'll work 24-hour shifts, sometimes longer. I'm alone a lot. I think the best thing I ever did was realize that, oh my gosh, this is like the perfect excuse to have time for myself. When he is working those days, I plan things with friends. I plan things to do by myself. I will like romanticize the shit out of my night routines. And it does get lonely, obviously, especially when you live with your partner and they are someone who works overnight shifts at their job. It is hard. To make it the best for myself is just finding ways, again, to like keep busy and do little things that maybe I wouldn't do if he were here, like read for 2 hours straight with a face mask on, and do little things to treat myself, do self-care acts, have dinner with my family, have dinner with friends. I try to make the most of my time alone because I do have so much of it. And yeah, that way when he's home from his shifts, I can just like spend my time with him, do our thing, whatever. But honestly, the way I look at it, it is so nice in a way almost, because I'm like, it kind of forces you to maintain your individuality in your relationship when your partner is gone with their job a lot, because you're forced to do things by yourself. You're forced to kind of like have your own life, which I honestly think is nice because it forces you to do that. And I know a lot of people struggle with maintaining individuality in their relationships when they live together, spend all their time together. I think that it can be really hard. So I kind of look at it as a blessing of like, oh, I'm like forced to do this. I'm forced to like have my own life still, which I think is really good for me. How to overcome things you regret. Good question. I'm not perfect at this. There's things I maybe wish I had handled differently, done differently. I don't know, not to sound like I know it all, because I literally don't. And sometimes I'll say these things and I'm like, bitch, take your own advice. Like, you don't even listen to this advice. But what I try to remind myself is that it's like part of the human experience to make mistakes, to grow, to learn from them. I feel like as long as you're learning from your mistakes, it's literally okay to make mistakes. We're not going to be perfect. We don't have to try to be perfect. And if there's some things that you regret, maybe doing, saying, whatever it is, I think the best thing you can do is forgive yourself and move on and be better. How do you handle being at different stages in life compared to your friends, me right now? This is such a good question. I think, especially at this age right now, I have friends who are off traveling the world, single, doing their thing, living their best life. I have friends who are married. I have friends who are having kids and like settling down in that way. And I'm like, whoa guys, what is going on? It is crazy when you get to that age where, I don't know, I feel like once you graduate high school, graduate college, everyone kind of just like starts to do their own thing, because for so long you're all like in school doing the same thing on the same path. And then I feel like post-grad, everyone scatters. I think I was listening to a Mel Robbins podcast. She called it like the great scattering, which I thought was so funny because it is so true. After that point in your life, everyone goes on to do different things. Some people go on to pursue more education and they're on that path, super in their studies. Some people go on to realize, hey, I just want to sell everything I own and backpack the world. Other people want to settle down and have kids. And it's so crazy because everyone's doing so many different things. So I relate to this a lot because I feel like I'm at a point in my life right now where a lot of the people around me we're all in very different stages. And I think it's important to realize that that's okay. That's what life is. And learning to maintain your friendships even when they are changing and it does look a little bit different, because obviously things are going to change when people change, when our lives change. But I do think it's good to also have friends that are in similar life stages to you. I think that's really important, just because it's really hard. Let's say that all your friends are in long-term, like stable, serious relationships and you're the only single friend. I know that feeling, and it can suck because you're like, okay, who's gonna pop out with me on the streets? You know what I mean? And so that's why I think it's important to have people in your life that are kind of on like a similar path as you right now. But yeah, it's very normal. I think at this point in our lives, like things are just gonna continue being that way, but I think it's important to learn how to maintain friendships even when everything else is changing. I think that's a good answer. It's a pretty good answer. Ooh, how to stop taking things personally. I don't know if I'm the person to answer this, because tell me why. For example, I'm so sensitive. I will suggest we watch a movie. I'm like so passionate about the movie. I love the movie. I make Micah watch it, my boyfriend, and he doesn't really like the movie. I take that so personally, as if I produced, directed, and starred in the movie. Like, I take that so personally. But on like a bigger level, I would say to stop taking things personally. Just realize that a lot of it isn't personal. People's opinions that they put onto you and their thoughts are a reflection of their experiences. Also realizing that if someone doesn't know me personally, literally, why would I take it personally? I'm not gonna let someone who doesn't know me, and there's very few people in my life who like truly do, you know what I mean? So it's like, when there's like outside opinions, I almost just try to filter it that way, of like realizing that they don't know me. They don't know my story. They don't know my lore, okay? And realizing that it usually isn't personal, because what they're judging you for, whatever opinions they're maybe placing on you that are from their very strong beliefs, that has everything to do with them and nothing to do with you, if that makes sense. I don't know if that was a good way to answer that question. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, I don't know. I only have so much knowledge to like spit out in this video, okay? Anyway, if you can't tell, I'm done getting ready. I have a very, very simple routine. I don't use that many products. I will link everything that I did use down below though, in case you want anything. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a great chat. If you actually stayed to this point in the video, I love you, because I know this video is long and it's very chatty, so it's only gonna be the real ones. If you stayed till the end, so I know who stayed, comment down below the lemon emoji. And if you're feeling saucy and you wanna talk a little bit, let me know what you've got going on today. It's a Sunday or whatever day you're watching this, and we'll chat. I've been loving to respond to all the comments because I think it's really fun to chat with you guys. Anyway, thank you so much for listening to me. If you didn't, I don't know who would.